my screen there is no one. Which written by logo Manisha was there. Now there is no one.
Maybe
it is his layout. It is his layout, not our.
So you can adjust your layout.
What I have to do?
You will have to click on change layout option. It will be on the right side of your system.
Those three dots.
It was coming out all right. What's gone wrong now?
Hello.
Everything was okay. Why it has changed?
So you can just log out for a minute and then come back, sir. It will be fine then.
I think I'm on the screen. Return to home screen. No.
Change layout. The present now, near the present now, the three dots are there, no, sir? Present now.
I will again relink through your
link. Yes.
That will be good, sir.
Yeah, that will be good, sir. You just close this and again join.
No, I've joined, but now again screen is blank.
That might be the layout problem, sir.
But sir didn't logged out.
But we are clearly seeing you, sir. Very clear.
I don't know why this suddenly this is, because there was nothing like that before.
Sir, you close this and you log in again through that.
Okay.
Yes.
I closed the computer itself.
Just you, sir, log off from this meet, sir. You just leave the meet.
The red.
You click on that red button. You can leave the meet, where you can leave the meet.
No, it is not there. Let me close the...
Yeah, please close it and then rejoin.
I'll close the computer.
हो गया
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Namaste, sir.
Good afternoon. Sir, mute. Sir, हम
सिटीजन वाले का भेजा है। अच्छा
which have changed our lives. And the most outstanding example of this, which epitomizes all inclusive growth, is this benign mobile phone. What people have not realized is how high science has gone in making these mobile phones functional, quite apart from the space program and the science of satellites, science, and how when people used to study astronomy, they used to think, what is the use of astronomy? How astronomy has helped in weather prediction, the science of astronomy. I'm going to lay a lot of emphasis on blue sky research, strong science base for which universities are meant. So I start by making a very interesting statement to which I subscribe, which is that genius prefers homogeneity of an individual rather than the collective wisdom of a group. Original ideas are very much connected with individuals. And it is, even if you take the pharmaceutical industry in the recent past, you will find that the molecules which went to the market, they were all purchased by the big companies from smaller fellows, whether it was Lipitor, atorvastatin, whether it was hepatitis C drug, which crossed $14 billion sale per annum, 14 billion, 1-4. Now, these were all purchased. What does it tell us? It tells us that the inventive mind has to be given complete freedom. Blue sky research. Now, in blue sky research, you need ambience and ability to own failures. One of the serious problems in having innovations in India, and I backtrack, having inventions in India, is our cultural heritage of not owning failures. We as a country, we as people, inhabitants of India, historically and even today, we do not have the cultural background of accepting failures. If we look inwards within individual family, you will find that we don't own failures. I'm not talking of politicians not owning failures. I'm talking of we, in individual families, we don't own failure. We'll give some excuse or other. If a fellow didn't do well in the exam, they'll say the fellow was sick on the previous day, something like this, rather than admit. Now, why am I emphasizing this? Failures are an integral part of invention. Experimentation only will give you inventions, and there is no experimentation without failures. And I'll give you a very simple example. I'll give you many examples, but let me start with this little example. You all see this PET bottles in which we drink mineral water, which has made a lot of these enteric diseases disappear in India because people are able to use good quality water. The person who worked on this in DuPont, he had 10,000 failures. 10,000 failures before he came up with a recipe by which this PET bottle can be made. The net result today is that globally we make 70 billion bottles, 70 billion bottles in the world. Now, invention can come through pure discovery route, or it can also come through urge of the market. Let me give you an example of how discovery-driven thing happened. There was a person who did this work again in DuPont, Caruthers, who was a faculty member in Harvard. And DuPont hired him and told him, you have carte blanche, complete freedom to do something original. And he was the man who invented nylon, which completely changed the world, because nylon was immediately followed by polyester. And remember, if this was not invented, poor lady in India could not have been wearing a decent looking sari which refuses to go away. Color remains stable. So there was also invention of proper colors. So it can be a discovery. So I consider this whole discovery of nylon 6,6, as a discovery-driven product, an archetype of a discovery-driven product. The similar product became market-driven when you wanted fibers for reinforcement, which will make, like, as for example, bulletproof chest. So the aromatic nylons came in, aromatic polyamides came in, and these were market-driven. So the product started discovery-driven, and it also saw the market-driven methodology. Now, where is the role of universities? Universities have a very, very major role, and you being a central university, you don't have the problems of state university in which I worked for my lifetime, because state universities have affiliated colleges. Bombay may have 800 affiliated colleges, Pune might have 1,000. And the university is always occupied with these colleges, and departments have very little say. You are free from that problem because you don't have problems of affiliated colleges. What is it that distinguishes universities in doing inventive work from any other organization? First of all, we have what I call spiritual freedom to come out with new ideas. We are not afraid of failures. Even some research work where there is a failure, if properly explained, still will find a publication in a very outstanding learned journal. So this business of having spiritual freedom gives us a totally different outlook. Now, how is university research done? University research is done predominantly through doctoral students. And we have ushered in this doctoral part in a very major way. I used to head an empowered committee of UGC, and our aim was to increase in a quantum way the output of good PhDs from all over the country and not from only some selected universities. And you might be wondering why I'm talking so much about PhD-oriented program, because university research, that is the only mode. Postdoctoral research is only a small part. Major part is through doctoral research. And what is the efficacy of doctoral research? Where would you find people working for 80 hours a week on a relatively small fellowship, never recognizing weekends, no holidays? No one in industry, I've been associated with industry for 55 years, I can tell you, they never work that long in their R&D department or in technology department. Whereas in university, doctoral students live in the lab, work in the lab, live in the lab. So there is, now you can see the best use of this has been made by United States, where the doctoral program is so strong. Now, there is a very well entrenched view throughout the world that the economic prosperity of nation is directly linked to number of PhDs per million population. Our numbers were quite low. Most of the old IITs, the 6, 5 plus 1, their PhD output, let us say about 8-9 years ago, are well under 100, 80, 85, 90. With persistent efforts, I happen to be a member of the council of IIT Bombay. I was chairman of the IIT Madras council. I was also chairman of the standing committee of the main IIT council. And we made it a mission that output of PhDs has to increase. And the ultimate goal is 1 PhD per faculty member per year. I'm glad to be able to tell you that all the older IITs are now fast approaching 400 PhDs per year, and within a matter of another 3-4 years, it will escalate further. So this PhD-oriented program in the university makes a lot of difference. Now, I'll tell you the reason why inventions leading to innovation, our track record is poor in the country. Our genes are getting expressed in America and Silicon Valley and elsewhere. Even yesterday you saw about Mars. Why? One of the reasons for this is we don't provide right ambience. And in ambience, you must have the ability to own failures. Now, there is a conflict when it comes in the industry. See, finally, a good idea will lead to commercialization only through a commercial company. So where do you see the problem? The problem is that we come out with an idea. A person who has got crazy idea is often harassed and even humiliated. So you see the fate of a person who has very different idea than all people around him. This has happened in companies. I'll give you one or two examples of that. They happen to be from chemical industry. Or I can also tell you how LED came in, which has revolutionized the whole world. How did LED come? And just now in the contemporary world, everybody is talking every day about vaccines. How did vaccines come except for high blue sky research? High level research for so many years allowed these vaccines to come in less than a year when it used to normally take 4.5 years, 5 years. So, you know, this whole business of doing work, this work which we do, we must not be afraid. I'm going to emphasize again and again that don't be afraid of failures. Learn from failures. If any research guide says that his or her research project has gone as per the original trajectory, I think it will be a wishful thought to share. You know, research is sometimes irrational because you go, I'm not talking of repetitive work, but that is not okay, it's all right. I'm talking of original work. When you take up some original work, there will be a number of people around whom I call Mr. No or Miss No. They say, oh, it won't work. When it works, all of these fellows who were poo-pooing this now become owners. Now this is immorality. We are the people, they forget that other fellow has a good memory. He said, look, you are the fellow. So I'll give you one or two examples from industry which made a major impact in the world. And I take you back to Second World War time, and a very inventive company in America was converting, I'll explain in very simple language because audience doesn't consist of chemical engineers or chemists, that hexane as a molecule is curled up to cyclohexane and that goes to benzene in one step. And that was based on a platinum catalyst. So it was called platforming, reforming, and platinum catalyst platforming. These two fantastic individuals who conceived this idea in UOP in United States, the board of that company poo-pooed the idea saying that crude oil at that time was less than $1 a barrel. You guys, have you gone crazy? You want to use such a expensive catalyst. This is the one which has made all the changes in the world in terms of availability of benzene, toluene, xylene. If we did not have paraxylene, we would not have got our PET, polyester fiber, filament, PET, resin. No way. Because all the paraxylene comes through this operation. So great was this contribution that these two gentlemen, Hansel and Ipatif, are in Hall of Fame in Washington, But look at the problems these people had suffered out of some humility that you guys, you Johnny's fellows, what are you doing? Now, these are not isolated examples. When did people realize that science makes all the difference to the quality of life? And I take you back to invention of penicillin. Who did it? How it was serendipitous, and I'll explain to you how serendipity has played a very major role in high-class inventions. But this serendipity has never occurred to an uninitiated person. Fleming was able to see the merit in that mold. Now, if penicillin had not come, TB would not have been cured. Of course, it then went to streptomycin that you have rifampicin today, but the beginning was made, and that's the time when governments all around the world realize that it is the science that makes all the difference. Today, you do find some reference to scientists from politicians, which was sadly missing all along. And they have realized that none of these vaccines can come without high-class research in biology. Very high-class research in biology, then only virology, then only. So you see the impact when I told you about mobile phone. Every component in the mobile phone is a result of high science. So science is the bedrock invention leading to innovation. So if you don't have a strong science base, we engineers only convert. The basic ideas have to come from these crazy individuals who think in a very different way. We need to nurture such people. And in the democratic system, there will be so many impediments. Who is this fellow? What is that genius fellow? Why are you promoting him? I am senior to him and all that. There is no role of seniority in this whole game of coming out with invention. And first time, when the industry realized that research is exceptionally important, the credit goes to Germany. And you would be surprised that first industry in the world where in-house research was initiated in industry was chemical industry in Germany. The chiefs of these companies like BASF, Bayer, were all people of such stature. They were called Herr, Professor, Doctor, so-and-so. That means they had a rank. In Germany, if you are labeled as a professor, unlike any other place in the world, it is the biggest thing because professor is the person in so far as that discipline is concerned in Germany. That is not so for us or America or UK. There is a very different role of a professor and status of a professor in Germany. Such was the stature of the people. And they are the people who came out with so many new products because they nurtured people who had original idea. Now I go back for a moment to tell you how serendipitous discoveries have made such a big world. Now, probably many of you wouldn't know that polyethylene, which is used extensively in packaging, which is used for many other purposes, was accidentally invented in ICI. The person was very observant. He saw some waxy material coming in an ethylene pipeline which was under very high pressure, almost supercritical. And he was observant enough to consider this as some unusual event. And this polyethylene, you can say today we are producing more than 100 million tons. Every now and then we are coming out with innovations in that the film is becoming thinner and stronger. You can't easily pierce a new polyethylene film. This is all out of very good science. Not the science then is converted into technology. So polyethylene came serendipitously. You will be surprised that even anesthesia came serendipitously. Even pacemaker came serendipitously. Even Viagra came. Viagra was originally meant for heart disease. And you know where the Viagra is. It is also instructive for people, all over university people, to follow the Nobel Prize lectures. Because they then share the idea that how the idea which brought them Nobel Prize was often criticized in the beginning of their career, and how many years it took for people to realize whether it was Mendel, the whole theory of genetics, he being a religious man, people poo-pooed and they called him heretic. Remember, if Mendel's work was not there, where would I have been genetics today? So it is very instructive to read the Nobel Prize lectures to inspire our students, whether it is physics or biology or chemistry, doesn't matter. It is very important too. Now I come to, when I say economic growth, in very advanced nations, there is an accepted view in United States as one of the most advanced countries that 85% of the growth has come out of technology. 85% of growth. You hear a totally different language from economists, but I am giving you hard facts. It is technology, just as like mobile phone. If mobile phone technology had not come, the lowest person in our economic standards of India would not have. Today, you will find it very difficult to find a person who is not using a mobile phone. How? Isn't it the product of very high science? So, please bear in mind that always ideas which are very original, people are not able to chew and they criticize. And when it becomes successful, they try to become also supporters of that, oh, I said it'll work. Now, as a lifetime consultant in industry, I can tell you, I always wore two shirts, one my academic shirt and one shirt for my interaction with industry. The language I have to talk to the people, managing director or something very different from language with my fellow scientists in Indian National Science Academy or anywhere else. When you come out in India, I'm trying to tell you what are the psychological problems in India. Apart from this whole business of ambience, and whenever you have this kind of authoritarian type of system, it is not conducive for coming out with inventions. If we suggest something very, very different, one of the questions the person would say, has anybody done in the world? Now, don't you think it is antithesis to inventing, leading to innovation? If you are asking a question that has anybody done in the world, then only you're doing repetitive work, you are not the originator. Since Manisha is from, let me give you something which has inspired me a lot. Francis Arnold's Nobel Prize lecture, Directed Evolution, Enzymology. How enzymes are changing the world. You are able to mimic nature. People have been able to do through directed evolution enzymes and many times immobilize them. Let me give you 2-3 examples that are very unusual. Today, we are able to do vanillin. Everybody knows because people go for vanilla ice creams and vanillin through fermentation. The idea is if nature can do it, that why can't we make bugs do it? And mind you, nature is the most important source of inspiration. Why do I say so? Look at a tree. The same tree can give you pinene, alpha pinene, beta pinene, carine and all. Similar tree gives you natural rubber. Now, do you know of any industrial process where at room temperature you are directly able to get a polymer? Rubber. How hard we have to struggle to manufacture synthetic natural rubber. But nature is doing at ambient conditions. And look at the silkworm. You are directly getting a fiber. Can we match that? So when we are out of ideas, look at some plants will give you Taxol. The most complicated molecules are coming out of the plant. Nature produces mentha, which is optically active. The big difference between racemic materials, all the drugs today are mandated. If racemic, FDA will not approve unless you give the efficacy of the individual isomers. So how much innovation has come? How Nobel Prize has gone to people who have done asymmetric synthesis? How Nobel Prize has gone to people who have done what we call metathesis reaction. What is metathesis reaction? Chopping of molecules and stitching them. Chopping of the molecules and stitching them. Dancing of molecules. Now, these things, when they were done first, people were always suspicious. Oh, this fellow looks crazy chap. It's only crazy chaps who come out with these original ideas. Now, going back to serendipity, as I said, that even in medical field, things have been serendipitous. But please bear in mind, whether it was penicillin or any other item or Viagra, none of these serendipitous events happened to uninitiated person. I'll give you another example. Cellulose nitrate, which goes for nail polish, it goes in wood polish. And originally, cinema films were from cellulose nitrate. Therefore, there used to be placard, no smoking, not reasons of health, but fire hazard of cellulose nitrate. It was discovered in Austrian kitchen that cotton swab fell on nitric acid and there was a burner nearby and it burnt. Cellulose nitrate was discovered. And that led to making cellulose acetate fiber, cellulose acetate plastic and all that. So, it's very inspiring to see how these discoveries have taken place, which have made such a major impact on the quality of life. If you take, when I said antibiotics, after today, what is happening? The high science of biology. There's a lot of work today going on gene therapy. How has this happened? Why are people working on gene therapy? Why are people working on biosimilars? How come these drugs which are coming through fermentation route are making such a big difference? How gene therapy will make such a big difference for literally incurable diseases? How vaccines eradicated smallpox, polio. None of these would have happened without fundamental research. So I come back to my theme that unless you promote blue sky research and support it vigorously, isn't it a pity there's only one place in India where the work fundamental is the name of the institution, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research? Nowhere else. People would have said, now, what is this fundamental research? What is the use of it? Mathematics. People say, oh, what is this? And family pressure would be there when a person, son or daughter, very much interested in mathematics. No, don't do that. Naukri nahi milegi, that kind of thing. But today, artificial intelligence requires strong mathematical background. So mathematicians are again in limelight. And I always call, in the line of my friend Mukunda from Institute of Science, mathematics queen and companion of sciences. So it is mathematics. Just as I repeat and tell you that people used to unnecessarily mix astronomy with astrology. Astronomy is separate. And people are saying, why are you putting in so much effort on astronomy? How would a weather forecasting come? Today, how our lives are so critically dependent upon the weather forecasting, and how accurate this weather forecasting have become. In fact, in advanced nations, they give even hourly prediction. The temperature will swing from this to this and with reasonably good precision. How it has all happened? If we did not have original study of astronomy, this weather forecasting would not have been at the present status. So many times people are not able to realize the importance of high science. And I am not missing a single opportunity in different forums in India to emphasize the role of universities, the PhD-oriented research, the blue sky research. Therefore, I'm very happy to interact with the Central University. You are not starting with any baggage. You are all new. So you don't have to worry about you choose your own path. You just come up with your own ideas. Now I can keep on talking to you about this subject. Is very close to my heart. The way the spirit of invention leading to now in people, when they come out with conducting polymers, it was out of curiosity. What is it that drives invention? It is curiosity. You have the curiosity. So what is research? Somebody has described research as a random walk in a blind alley to find out whether it is really blind. And when people say, oh, I'll give you money, will you guarantee the result? If it is repetitive type somebody has done, it's a valid question. Otherwise, it's a stupid question to say, all right, say, I give you all the money. Will you give me vaccine for TB? People have been working for last 15, 20 years. I was also associated for a while in America for a vaccine developer for TB. Even today, BCG only works very, very partially, that too only for children. There is no effective, if you want to cure TB, India is the TB capital. We need real high science. Even recombinant BCG hasn't worked. It's a big challenge to science to come out with a vaccine for TB. You are coming out for vaccine with the present COVID, like people came out. But in the case of Ebola, it took 4.5 years. Because we had the previous background and the level of high science, when I talked about you about directed evolution, it was based on lot of work on enzymes that was done, immobilization of enzyme, number of things that were done which made processes benign, whether it was leather treatment or textile treatment using it. But today we are using enzyme. Now I mentioned to you about optically active molecules. You try to do through asymmetric synthesis, which fetch Nobel Prize, which I mentioned earlier. But if you have the proper enzymes gone through directed evolution, you can increase the productivity 1,000 times by improving the enzyme. 1,000 times. Easily, if you have the right tools. Unfortunately, in India, biotechnology has ruined applied microbiology. I'm sorry to say that. You can't find very good applied microbiologists today. I'm right now associated with biocatalysis in industry. And we are finding it extremely difficult to get people to do work which is obvious in terms of solving certain problems. Even then, we are finding difficulty. So, if you don't have good microbiology, you will not have applied microbiology. What is the difference between applied and pure? Pure, it is not, till it is applied, it is pure science, then it becomes applied science. So this futile exercise in distinguishing between science and applied science is just waste of time. And when you hear people saying, my laboratory, 60% of the time is on applied, 40% is in the basic research, never buy that argument because it's based on some bogus argument. There is no way you can split like that. That means you're doing some kind of routine. So, the whole field is very exciting in terms of in the university atmosphere. My urge to all of you, my fellow teachers, that we must give freedom to our students. With due modesty, I can tell you, I let many of my PhD students publish in the most renowned journals in chemical engineering in their own personal name while they were doing PhD with me. In the very journals where hardly anybody from any chemistry department in the country was able to publish papers. Now, these people have grown because they had that level of confidence that they inherited while they were doing PhD, and they went places. They became fellows of Indian National, some became Bernardo Prize winners and all. So we teachers have a heavy responsibility in developing people, giving them freedom to think independently. In fact, in some universities in America, there is a practice that there has to be an independent dissertation, quite divorced from the PhD topic, done exclusively by the student concerned on his or her own. I think it's a very interesting practice because that makes a person think independently, very independently from the beginning. If we do too much tutoring, then we are not developing minds to do any inventive work. So I decided when I had interaction with the Vice Chancellor, I said, please they give a more general talk. So I thought I will talk on innovation to trigger. The economic growth, when I said, even Nobel Prize winner Solow said, basic minimum 50% of the growth comes out of technology. And technology doesn't come unless you have high science. How does technology come? And I repeat, I told you earlier, in any process, technology is big C of the capital. Capital investment depends upon, is a big factor in technology when you put up a unit. So I'm very happy that you are celebrating your Science Day, which happens to be your foundation day, and you are having series of lectures. I'm happy to participate. I wish all of you great success. I've been all my life a university man, that too in a state university. And with due modesty, I even became the first engineer from India to become fellow of Royal Society. So university system, when people say, ye baat mere beech mein aaya, wo mere beech mein aaya, we don't normally recognize hierarchy. I didn't recognize, and I made sure that my colleagues didn't recognize the hierarchy is dead against coming out with original ideas. We must give freedom. And universities have, and I repeat, I'll be never tired of repeating, in university we have spiritual freedom to try out new ideas. Thank you. Thank you. I'm done. I wanted to stick to my time. Are you hearing me? Are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yes, sir. We can.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we are able to hear you.
I time that was
Come close, Manish.
we started later, taken 45 minutes.
Yeah. Sir, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your time, sir. And
Where is the Vice Chancellor?
so he's joining. Just he was online, and then we had some issues with the internet. He was in meeting, so he had to leave then. So we have Professor Busrika who is here, and Vice Chancellor sir had to go for a meeting. So because we had the technical glitch, so he joined and then he left for the meeting, sir.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So thank you very much for your time, sir. And so I would request Professor Anjana Munshi, Dean Research. She is from the Department of Human Genetics and Molecular Medicine and Dean Research, to please conclude your talk and propose a vote of thanks.
So Manisha, how did you like my reference to
Microbiology? Yes, sir. Yes, enzymology. Yes, sir.
directive evolution and all?
Yes, sir. Very good, sir. So definitely, I think students and teachers, we have a lot of compliments coming from everybody about your talk, sir.
To make all your students read Francis Arnold's lecture.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
We
sir.
will
Sure.
do that
Yes, sir.
definitely, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. So, so it's a privilege for me to propose vote of thanks. To the person who has. This is Anjana, sir. I'm Dean Research at the university.
You're not on the screen. You're not on the screen.
Yes. Just a minute, sir.
Camera there.
Yes, sir.
Just to get camera.
I have Vishnu Mehra, I have Puduru Ramarao.
Yes, sir. How are you, sir? How are you, sir? Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Fine. You remember me at least. And yeah, in the NIPER, actually, you are my selection committee chairman, sir.
So, can you see me, sir, now? Here?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so I'm Anjana. I'm working as Dean Research. I'm a professor in Department of Human Genetics and Molecular Medicine. So it's a privilege for me to propose vote of thanks. We are quite, feeling quite inspired by listening to you. Although it was a general talk, but there are many take-home messages for the teachers as well as the students of the university. So at the onset, I would like to thank you for accepting our invitation to be with us on this, to join us as a speaker for these our Foundation Day lectures. And we are also thankful to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor R.P. Tiwari ji, who, pushes us to invite people of your caliber, to, address the university faculty and the researchers. I'm sorry that he had, to join an urgent meeting, so he had to leave. So, and in between there was some technical glitch also, so I apologize for that also. Thankful to our registrar, Professor Kamal Pal Singh Ji Mudra, and I have also Dean in charge academics, Professor Busrika, who is there with us. So the take-home message, what I felt is that the students need to be given freedom, and the university has to create a niche for them, and universities, they can do that because, as you said, that the students they can live here, they can sleep here, and they can work here. And the teachers need to encourage them if they have an independent idea, and let them take it forward. And I'm sure that we will work on this, sir. We will try to send this message across to our students and the faculty. And I could also connect to your, you talked about different sciences. I am a human geneticist, so I could connect that how Mendel's work got, he didn't get the recognition when he was alive. So that it was only when these laws were rediscovered, and very rightly said that genetics would not have been anywhere. We talk of gene therapies and other things, stem cell therapy and all that would not have been in place if the Mendel's basic principles of genetics would not have been, identified, and they were not in place. So similarly, the other examples of nylon and all. So you could connect, with industry and academia, that how there has to be, more freedom. Even industry has to have more place for research. And in India, that has started in few industries now, but that culture did not, exist previously. And then also, keeping keeping away the people who say, as you said, Mr. No and Miss No, who would say that this idea would not work. So we will try to keep them away from us. So therefore, we are really thankful to you. It's been quite inspiring, and we are really, feeling elated to listen to you. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot for being with us today. Thank you very much, sir.
So I'm withdrawing now.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Just we'll conclude the talk with the final, we'll rise for national anthem, sir, and then we'll
Okay.
Close. Okay, sir. गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा हिमाचल तव शुभ आशीष मांगे जन गण मंगलदायक जय भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 जय। Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.